news,
Lobbyists are fed up with politicians accepting their money and then not coming through.
opinion,
When the automated police force orders you inside, that's just them doing their job.
remix.
Even lost my job partially due to the whole global warming issue. Increase in oil prices. This guy's scared.
This is Top Story with Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen,
I've been a listener for about 20 years.
I'm talking to you makes me feel better.
where the news meets your opinion. Pick up the phone and talk about it. 736-0300. That's 736-0300. Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
And welcome back to Top Story. 736-0300, the number to call. And good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
It's going to seem like Monday all day long today.
We are going to screw this up.
Yeah, I know.
How was your Labor Day weekend?
It was just not long enough.
It's not, is it?
No, none of these 3-day weekends are what they're cracked up to be, you know?
We ended up going to Park City. Thought I would prepare little Miss Gracie. She hasn't been traveling well with us. And guess what? They told me to give her a half a Benadryl. That would relax her.
Half a Benadryl.
Yeah. I'm like, but she doesn't have allergies. I don't understand the half a Benadryl.
Well,
I guess it makes you, I've never taken Benadryl.
Benadryl makes you drowsy.
Does it?
Yes.
Does
Yes.
it? I don't think so. She still was vomiting, frothing, meowing for like 4 hours. She didn't vomit the whole time. She has to start out doing that 2 or 3 times right in the beginning, and then it's frothing and meowing the entire time.
Man,
I'm surprised I'm not like just like brain dead mental. It's like a Chinese torture or something. Have a cat meow behind your head incessantly for hours.
Worse than the Chinese water torture, huh?
Oh, I think little Miss Gracie might be boarded next time.
Ah, the good idea. That
Well,
probably
I
is a
mean,
good idea.
I was-
Yeah,
I
if
had-
she can't travel, well.
I had this hope, the Benadryl, but she
Yeah.
used to travel fine with Lizzie. She had a companion. They could,
See, our little Boston Terrier, Mabel, can't travel. Just taking her to the vet, she'll puke.
Well,
So-
try a little Benadryl.
I don't know.
After the first half pill, I called them. I go, can I give her the second? They're like, no, that would be too much. I'm like, really? This isn't working.
If little is good, more is better, huh? Yeah, that's my motto.
Well,
That's
it's
my
not
motto.
always, but I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem to be putting a dent in this situation. So anyway, we made it back. We had a great time.
We're gonna
yada,
find
yada.
good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Are you?
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Okay,
am.
great. Yeah.
We're going to find out about the Pooch Splash coming up here shortly at 8:20. At 8:30, we have Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans. We have Governor Butch Otter will be joining us for just a few brief moments at 9 o'clock today. Mm-hmm. And, of course, one of the big stories. Now, we have some news we want to share with you, but that'll be a little bit later toward the end of the show. One of the big stories today, according to the Times News, a former College of Southern Idaho men's basketball coach Jeremy Cox was paid $146,607 when he resigned, according to documents that they obtained. And you would think, well, maybe that's not unusual. Maybe they were just buying out his contract. But I don't know. Apparently, that was not the case.
No.
But there's very little information coming out about this. To go on with the story here from the Times News, CSI President Jeff Fox confirmed late Saturday that Cox resigned and that the payout was for the remainder of his contract. Asked why Cox was paid after resigning, Fox requested that all contract questions be directed to CSI's Human Resources Department. So that's kind of odd. Normally, if the school would decide that, well, we don't want him as coach anymore, then they would go ahead and buy out the rest of his contract. But if you resign, does that entitle you to the rest of the payout of the contract? Because according to the contract that was in the paper, I didn't see anything.
No, I think
indicated
they say it doesn't. They're supposed to be paid through the amount of time that they worked there. But the interesting thing here too is, first of all, I was surprised he was only there 9 months. Right. He was chosen as Region 8 Coach of the Year. He resigned suddenly, and on that day, apparently, even if you paid out his contract, they said that would have, and bonuses, it would have been $97,500. But they paid him $146,607.72, almost an extra $50,000. And you have to wonder why. It was handwritten in there. on the agreement, they said, where it should have been, if you even added that up, even if you paid the payout. Why? I don't know why you would pay a payout for a coach that resigns. I don't know. You have to. Does it bother anyone that taxpayer dollars are paying for this, especially when they just rose tuition prices? Are they raising them so they can have payouts like this? What is going on? And why is no one commenting?
I'll tell you what bothers me is, and this somehow may be totally on the up and up. I don't know. I am not an expert in CSI's affairs, and I just don't know. But what I don't get is, why is it when something like this happens, the modus operandi is keeping quiet? Do you know what happens when you keep quiet about things, especially when it has to do with taxpayers' money?
Yeah.
People get suspicious.
Right.
It's a natural thing. And you would think that after all of these years of this same thing happening, we would finally learn, when you try to hush things up, people get suspicious. And when you're using their money, they really get suspicious. I don't understand. If you did screw up, just say so. Say, people would respect leaders today if when they screwed up, they would say, you know what? I am sorry. We screwed up, and we're going to do everything we can to turn this around and make it right. We made a bad decision, but instead it's no, talk to so-and-so over there. Talk to so-and-so. And nobody talks. I mean, it's not just CSI. I mean, it's so many things anymore. They just won't talk for thinking that, well, if we just keep quiet, this will go away. All it does is fester.
Well, and they're public, and things don't go away.
Exactly.
And you have to produce those things. But why would you pay them? Because, they said the amount of $74,600 whatever was crossed out, and then handwritten was $146,000 blah blah dollars. But why are you paying them almost $50,000? Some people are saying, what are they covering up? What is Jeremy Cox? He didn't really say that when he resigned. Oh, I got to pay out. I'm leaving. He's now coaching for someone else, of course, and now he's being doubly paid. We paid him. CSI paid him. He's earning money from his new team. But why didn't he say there was a payout? What are they hiding? You have to wonder. I know he was upset with actually the treatment of the kids. Remember the medical treatment? That was right. But people said what a great coach he was, and obviously he was coach of the year, and he was picked up right away. But so, I don't know, if you can't talk about it, why do they think they don't have to talk about it? Does it not bother anyone that they're not talking about it? Does it not bother you that the tuition just went up and they're paying stuff like this? What do you think?
7360300, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, lovely Jill.
Good morning.
Listen, you got to know about all the coaches, especially their money is guaranteed no matter what. When they sign, you got that one coach that was coaching over there in Notre Dame. He's still making money because he's still getting paid. So, I mean, that's just part of the business. Oh, Kelly, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Why don't we talk about the Cubans, since there's more of them coming in, and I mean, I don't hear the Rockies of let's send the militia over there with submarines and stop them over there at the water.
Oh, I don't know, because we decided to talk about something else.
The thing of it is you can pay out the contract for the coach. However, it was almost $50,000 more than what the contract was for. So that's the perplexing thing. Even if you did pay it out, and actually, I think they talked to former head coach Steve Gosar, said his contract was renewed annually. Yeah. So why would you even pay more than the payout? They obviously paid almost $50,000 more than what the payout should have been. Does that not make you wonder why? And no one's talking about it?
7360300 is the number to call. I don't know. From the looks of the comments in the paper, there was a lot of concern about this.
A lot.
And it would concern me too as a taxpayer. And again, I am not saying that anything. I just don't know enough about it.
Well, no one knows anything.
Well, that's just it, right?
So why not tell people?
I know.
And then to
because
refer to HR.
It's our money. It's our money.
I mean,
and so you need to come forth and say, put it out there, spill it out, say this is what's going on.
Yeah.
It's our money. It's not yours. This is a taxpayer-funded and a state-funded institution by taxpayer money.
I know.
Just tell us. 7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hey, why is it handwritten in? How many contracts are changed by handwriting something in?
Exactly. Were there any initials on that? Because sometimes when they do that, both parties initial.
No, of course they both have to. But no, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the actual document, but it said final pay employee term. This is what I got from the article. The amount was $74,657.70 was crossed out, and below it handwritten was $146,607.72. A check in the larger amount made out to Cox dated the day he announced his resignation. Why would you pay more?
It could be. My point is say he's coach of the year and he's entitled to a bonus. Okay, fine. But you type up the paperwork. If you did everything handwritten, we could all get a bonus.
But his bonus, apparently, if you revealed his annual salary was $78,000 paid in monthly installments, plus up to $12,000 in bonuses,
right.
15 more months of base pay, the amount of time left, it would have amounted to $97,500, not $146,000.
Well, I think the $146,000 that's twice his annual salary, isn't it? That's a 2-year period.
But they figured it out. If you paid his base and the bonuses he was entitled to, it still wouldn't have added up to $146,000.
But for the first year.
No, this is the payout. So this would be for the remainder of his contract. So they calculated out the remainder of his contract.
I got you.
You would have paid out, the remainder.
Yeah.
That's the issue. So why are you paying him up to almost $50,000 more? Well, and for what? And
And like you say, after just increasing tuition.
Yeah.
For the students, and that was what somebody figured out that would be enough for a semester for 110 students or something like that.
Yeah, that's what they said, full time. They also said that the standard CSI annual employment contract clearly stipulates that when employees resign, they shall be paid only the earned portion of their salaries. So,
I don't understand why full disclosure is so difficult.
Well, I think that's the whole issue.
And the thing of it is, if you don't, somebody's probably going to find out about it and spill the beans anyway. Why don't you just? And I'm talking to everybody in a public servant type service here, and I feel that anybody getting a taxpayer funded paycheck is someone who's in the public service. Just be honest with us.
This is a public
agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
University.
Absolutely.
So everything they do is public. You get public records, and I think that's what
their
Times
salary
News
is public
did.
information.
Absolutely.
So just be honest.
But what's going on?
I know.
What's going on that you have to hide it?
When you are quiet, people get suspicious.
And why are you paying almost $50,000 more to a coach that's resigned?
7360300 is the number to call. We're going to change directions here. We've got the Pooch Splash coming in next. 7360300 is always the number to call. We're going to find out about the Pooch Splash coming up. But first, I just want to remind you, if you're considering a low-end honey loader available from Stanley & Company, get a hold of Pat Hartzell, and he can fix it up so you can see one of these low-end honey loaders in operation on a feedlot or dairy, actual real-life situation. So you can see it down in the muck and the gunk and see how it really works. And then Pat Hartzell's the one who can set that up for you. Plus, he can even sell you one if you decide that that something like that would be beneficial to your operation. Pat's number is 280-1167. That's 280-1167, and his name is Pat Hartzell with Stanley & Company. We have Leah Scrimshire with us this morning. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning.
Now, you got the third annual Pooch Splash coming up here. What's this all about?
Usually dogs are not allowed down at Durkee's Lake, but once a year we get to do the Pooch Splash, and dogs are allowed to play in Durkee's Lake and all around in the park.
Oh, well, my goodness. Like that is nice.
So this is a special deal. This is a special benefit.
This actually, the proceeds this year are going to go to the animal shelter. The last two Pooch Splashes were to open Baxter's Park, but now that Baxter's Park is open, we get to use our Pooch Splash for the animal shelter.
Okay, great. So is there a fee involved, or
yes,
dog bones, or what do they have to bring?
It's a $10 per dog entry fee. Dog park rules apply, so only 2 dogs per adult.
Okay.
The first 100 dogs will receive a leash. The leashes were donated by Canyon Motor Subaru. We have a few other sponsors there. We've got Coca-Cola and PetSmart. Magic Valley Canine Social Club is sponsoring this fundraiser for the animal shelter.
And what time is it?
It's from noon to 4 on Saturday the 6th.
And so pretty much you just go out there and let your dogs swim around?
Yep, swim around, run around off leash. Brittany Triner will be there with her agility course, and she's a AKC Canine Good Citizen Evaluator, so you can talk to her about getting your dog with AKC Good Citizen.
Oh, wow.
Well, very cool. So this just kind of lets them go down and cool off, and we'll hope that it's nice and warm that day.
Yeah, I was watching the weather this morning. It's supposed to be almost 80. So
wow.
All right, well, that'll be just about perfect. It won't be too hot for the owners, but it'll be warm enough for the dogs. They'll want to jump in the lake.
And you're also going to have a
That's
raffle.
one time you can tell your dog, go jump in the lake.
Go jump in the lake.
Yeah.
You're also going to have a raffle?
Yes, we have several raffle prizes. Right now I've got some prizes in from Twin Falls Sandwich Company. It was the Hot Shop, Cheryl Hughes.
Oh, yeah. She cuts my hair.
Cool.
Yeah. That's nice.
And
so
then,
it's stuff for owners as well.
Yes.
And you mentioned the first 100 dogs registered get a 4-foot leash?
Yes, and the leashes were donated by Canyon Motor Subaru.
Oh, that's right. Okay, very good. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
But you also have a key thing here. Park entry fee is waived for attendees. So you just tell them you're going to attend the dog or the Pooch Splash and they get in free?
Yes.
Now that's nice.
That is.
Because that saves you, I don't know, $3?
Yeah.
Well, this will be a great deal for the animal shelter because I know the animal shelter always can use more money. They run out of pet food a lot of the times, and that can go to help this. And I suppose that even if, say, folks maybe don't have a dog or maybe can't make it, they can still donate if they like.
Oh, always. You can always donate down at the animal shelter on 420 Victory.
Okay.
You can actually pre-purchase your tickets for the splash.
Oh, where?
They're at the animal shelter.
Oh, at the animal shelter. Good.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
So they could go there, buy the tickets, and maybe if they can't go, they could gift them to someone who has a dog who might go.
There you
right.
go.
There's people who just have cats. Maybe I should bring Gracie down there, see how she fares there.
I don't know. This isn't a cat deal, right?
No,
I
it's
don't think
for
cats
dogs.
would enjoy
Might
it.
give the dog something to chase into the lake,
Poor
though.
Gracie. I know. Well, this sounds like a fun, and this is the 3rd annual. So how much money have you raised in the past doing this?
In the past, we were raising money for Baxter's Park. So I think last year we did a little over $2,000.
Great. That's awesome.
Okay.
And
Now-
how's that been received?
That was really well. You know, the Baxter's Park opened last weekend, and everybody's really, really happy about that.
Oh,
And
good.
you were kind of happy, too, because your dog, Kaiser, was really excited about
Yeah,
it.
Kaiser's quite excited about showing the park to everybody.
Oh, good. Well, so should people be prepared to bring doggy bags? They should clean up after their
Yes,
dogs, right?
Dog park
'Cause
rules apply, so you've always got to clean up after your dogs.
Any other dog park rules?
Basically, dogs that aren't in heat. You know, if your dog's in heat, you shouldn't bring him down.
Probably
if your dog
not.
Yeah, that could cause,
Could you imagine that one? The poor little doggy. Oy. And what else? What other dog rules?
If your dog is dog aggressive, you probably shouldn't bring them down. And
Okay.
Okay, so just common sense.
But
Basically.
you know what?
Yeah.
People sort of lack that sometimes, don't they?
I know. But so that's coming up when and where again?
that is going to be at Durkee's Lake on September 6th from noon to 4.
Is that this Saturday?
That is this Saturday.
This Saturday, noon to 4, $10. You can buy them ahead of time at the animal shelter. And your Durkee's fee is waived if you go to the Pooch Splash.
Yeah, very cool. Well,
That is
all right.
very cool.
Well, Leah Scrimshire, we appreciate you coming in and telling us about this, and we hope it's a huge success.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We got Steve Millington coming up with the Twin Falls Republicans, but I just wanted to mention we have a brand new sponsor here on Top Story today. It's Clearwater Power Equipment, and they carry... Well, actually, they've been the largest power equipment dealer in the Wood River Valley for over 10 years now. And so they decided that they were going to come to the Twin Falls area and open up a store, and that's exactly what they did. And they got sales and service and parts, and they sell Husqvarna, the full line of outdoor power products. I just will let everyone know I have a Husqvarna riding lawnmower.
Wow.
And I love that thing.
Oh, good.
I do. And the thing of it is, it's kind of big, and I really don't have a lot of place to store it for the winter. And Clearwater Power Equipment will actually store your equipment for you.
You're kidding. Wow, that's a good deal.
And they even have pickup and delivery. So call them and ask them about that. And they can give you all the details on that. Now, they're located in the old... Here I go again.
Don't even ask me the old
Here
what.
I go again.
Where are they located currently?
The old General Building Supply store.
Where the heck is
there
that?
on Washington Street. I used to buy wood all the time from
How many decades
General Building
ago?
Supply. No, not long ago. And
give the real address.
And so Ron decided he was retiring, so he closed up, and now Clearwater Power Equipment has the store. And it's a really nice location. You just come in on West Addison, you turn the corner there, head south on Washington Street, and down before you curve to go to up on 2nd Avenue. It's right in there. You can't miss them. They got signs up and everything.
Well, that's good. Because apparently we don't have an address, do we?
No, don't have an address.
We just have a memory.
Around here, we don't need addresses.
We just have a memory.
We just tell you it's the old Vickers Western store, or it's the old General Building Supply store. Everybody knows where General Building Supply
Well, if you're new to town, which we have quite a few people that are new to town, they might actually need an address. But I'm sure we'll get that for you sometime.
We will. But anyway, stop in, tell them howdy, tell them welcome to the area. And they've got Echo Power Equipment and Husqvarna, and it's all displayed nicely outdoors there. So it's really a cool place. You need to stop in. Hey, guess what?
The Democrats' secular progressive move, political correctness is killing us too. They want to take the money from the hard-working man and give it to the lazy folks that don't give a damn. Democrats and liberals, shame on you. Don't punish us all, just to please a few. You're holding people back while we're picking up the slack, and that's why we can't vote for a Democrat. Oh no!
All righty then. That means Steve Millington is with us from the Twin Falls Republicans. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How'd the thing go at the fair?
We had a great fair. Not only did the booth do very well, had lots of traffic in there. We had a great crowd Friday afternoon. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. We had Kelly
Everyone
there.
was able to fit in the booth.
We spilled out onto the walkway and up and down both sides and out on the grass. And, yes, we had
What a draw you were, Kelly Class.
Yeah,
what a draw.
Kelly, we're going to have him come back next year every day.
Really? Good luck with that one. I got a feeling he's not. Every day.
Well, I know we've talked about this before, and that's the theory about conservatives who are saying they're upset with Governor Otter. They will either leave Otter's box unchecked in the next election, or they will vote for Democrat Belukoff. What are your thoughts on this, and what do you think is the more likely scenario?
I've been saying this since the primary. I'm like, the people who voted for Russ Vulture, I don't think they're voting for Otter.
Well, I think one of the things that is going to be a real test is the apathy. And there may be an awful lot of people who will just throw their hands up and say, I'm just not going to vote in that race. But
we'll vote in other races.
I'm not going to vote at all.
Right.
Just saying that.
Right. Or leave the governor's box
leave that
unchecked.
box empty and go to the other. But there's a real propensity, I think, for many people to just say, I'm just not going to go vote. I don't like him, and I'm not. And that's a really, really bad idea. Go vote.
But now you have former Canyon County Prosecutor John, I don't know how you say,
Bujak.
Yeah.
Libertarian gubernatorial candidate. Do you think he's now the alternative, which people will vote for him as opposed to the Democrat?
To either Belukoff or to Otter. He could be the spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many votes he would draw in this kind of a situation. Any would be too many. But these kinds of I have a cause candidates oftentimes become the spoiler.
Yeah.
And they draw enough votes away from, in this case, it would be Governor Otter, that we see Belukoff do extremely well.
So he's definitely on the ballot. It's not a write-in. He's definitely on the ballot as under Libertarian Party?
Yep. As I understand it, when you get your ballot printed,
he's on there.
He will be right on. There'll be three choices: Otter, Belukoff, and Bujak.
Okay.
And he was the former Canyon County prosecutor who was charged with all sorts of things, but did they make anything stick?
I do not recall.
I don't think they did.
My the best I can remember is that nothing stuck.
Yeah.
He was absolved of all of those allegations.
We'll be right back with Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republican. 7360300 is the number to call.
Yeah.
7360300 is the number to call. Steve Millington is with us from the Twin Falls Republicans. It's kind of interesting because we were talking about the background of former Canyon County prosecutor John Bogut, who is now the Libertarian Party candidate for governor. And Jill, you said that on July 11th, or?
Well, yeah, it says that. Yeah, the article is in July 11th. He thinks he can win the. Well, then he says that he represented himself through 5 criminal trials in the last 3 years. So I don't know if he currently has anything against him or not. But it was for
the 5 criminal trials have all either been dismissed or he won them. This latest round of complaints or charges is a result of a bankruptcy filing that he made a couple of years ago. And when you go to bankruptcy, you have to declare all of your assets so that the bankruptcy trustee and the bankruptcy judge can attach those assets and dispose of them and pay off all the creditors. It's a really bad no-no if you try to hide something or not disclose assets.
Yeah.
And the bankruptcy judges get really, really nasty on those things.
And that's still in the works, right?
Well, 2 juries couldn't come up with a verdict on the 2. So I think he won 3 cases and 2 they couldn't come up with a verdict. So I don't know if he's.
Well, it's interesting though that his role, totally and completely, is one of being a spoiler.
Although he says he isn't.
Yeah, I would too. I would disclaim that title actually. But what he's really doing, he's going to be the spoiler. It's going to be a real challenge to see how much traction he gets moving this thing forward. And this just speaks right into our other issue with Otter and Belukoff, and that is that right now the polls are saying that Otter is about 10 to 12 points ahead in the polling process. And those are always interesting. I have never in my life been called on the phone and said, "We're taking this poll. Tell us how you would vote." So I wonder where they find these people that they do that with. However, the percentage in the polling right now shows Otter about 10 to 12 points ahead.
But it just really kind of started the election season.
That will shrink. That will tighten up the closer to the 1st of November we get.
Yeah.
And if we get that thing down to where, say we're looking at a 5 to 6 point challenge or difference there between Otter and Belukoff, you have somebody like this Bogut. He could be a spoiler. He could make things just awful for everybody.
Well, especially since independents are the largest group in Idaho. So the people, people are going to vote R just because it's an R, and people vote Dem, but the independents are going to move this.
But the independents, in my opinion, will not be so easily taken in by a libertarian candidate. They might be more inclined to tip
Belukoff
to a Republican or a Democrat, but a libertarian party
this should be interesting.
Is going to be, that's way on the outside edge, and a lot of people just they're not interested in going there. The biggest challenge that I see for Otter would be that people just say, "I'm going to leave that box empty. I'm not going to vote there."
Yeah, that's what I think.
I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm just going to leave that box empty. Well, we know that the people who are going to vote Democrat and the independents who want to lean in favor of Belukoff are not going to leave that box empty. Mm-hmm. They're going to put an X there.
Yeah.
And so the Republicans had better wake up to the fact that we cannot be too casual or too comfortable about that particular race. It's going to be a tight race. And as the next 60 days, we're going to see a lot of pressure and a lot of push on that race. And it's going to become a lot more complex than it appears today.
There's still a lot of questions, confusion, or whatever over the apparent invite that Treasurer Ron Crane issued to his challenger, Deb Silver. and she's saying that she showed up at the radio station. Apparently, Ron Crane issued a debate challenge to station KIDO in Boise.
Right.
And when she went there, because she found out through a third party, and when she went there, they said, no, we don't have a debate scheduled or anything like that.
We don't know anything about it.
So, but yet he did issue that challenge. So a lot of people are a little confused over that.
Yeah, he did not. And she found out from Melissa Davlin from PBS that he, on TV, he said, I challenge her. She has till Friday. And then they sent out a tweet saying the same thing with the hashtag Dem dodging ? Like she's refused to do the debate. And then she said she was in Boise Thursday night and heard about the tweet, so she showed up at the radio station Friday going, okay, what's this about?
Here I am.
And they knew nothing about it.
Well, that one I know.
How bizarre.
Yeah, that one I know nothing about. And
I don't think he's...
Friday afternoon, I had about 5 minutes or 8 minutes with Ron Crane, and I did not approach that question. It skipped my mind. I forgot it. I didn't go to the radio thing. However, he did tell me that he was planning on attending the public television station. I think it was
October 9th, PBS Idaho Public Television.
Idaho, that's it. Thank you. And it's sometime the first part of October, and he is planning to attend the debate that will be hosted by
KTVB on October 13th.
Yeah. Well, there's two of them.
There's two. One's October 9th and one's October 13th.
Yeah, I didn't talk to him at all about the KTVB debates from Boise, but he did confirm that he was planning to attend the PBS debates, and that's a few days. One's in
October 9th.
One's 9th and
one's
the 13th.
Yes. It almost sounded like, I don't know if he's confirmed by the letter to the editor.
I got the distinct impression that he was indeed planning to attend the October 9th PBS debate.
Did you ask him about some of the things in his record that he hasn't really addressed?
There are a couple of things about Ron Crane that are being overlooked. One of them is that in his term as the state treasurer, he has earned over $1.1 billion in interest income on investments that he's made with excess state funds during this period of time. And that's $1 billion that local taxing entities, that would be states, counties, school districts, cities, that's $1 billion that they didn't have to raise in taxes. That's $1 billion that he earned in investment income that went back to the appropriate governmental unit.
But how can you defend some of the practices that he's done? He switched different accounts, and to hide a $20 million loss, he covered up his limo ride amounts. He spent $8,000 in taxpayer dollars on gas cards. Come on.
The $20 million loss becomes a loss when we sell our position in those assets. Some of those assets have not been disposed of, and so the loss is a paper loss. It's not a real loss. And as the economy recovers and some of these things regain their previous footing, that $20 million could very well disappear.
But that's not what he did. He actually put money into a different account that he had no right to do to hide the loss. I mean, he's not addressing any of what the auditor has said about his practices. I can't believe that you're defending that that's okay, because the legislators
I'm not
should
defending
have
it
caught
because I don't know enough about it to make a good defense, nor do I know enough about it to make a solid acquisition against him.
But does it not bother you that he hasn't addressed the auditor's comments about what's happening in his office?
I think he addressed those things a year and a half ago when the legislative audit group posted them. He went to the legislature in the previous session earlier this year, and had changes made that would put additional controls and guidelines on the treasurer's office. So it's not like he's just doing nothing. He has encouraged these new audit guidelines and safeguards to be implemented in the treasurer's office to prevent this kind of thing from ever occurring in the future.
Before we run out of time, I want to talk about
You want to raise some taxes.
Yeah, the higher fees and taxes for road building and maintenance, which is probably going to come up in the next legislature.
I'm sure it will, for two reasons. Number one, this is a legislative session that we call the off-election session, because the elections will just have been completed. We won't have to face them again for 18 months. And so this is when, if at all, the legislature considers raising taxes. Number two, 2 years ago, Senator Burt Brackett and Clark Kaufman, legislative Representative Clark Kaufman, both proposed bills that would raise taxes for the Highway Department, the Idaho Department of Transportation. And their objective was that so many of our infrastructure, highway transportation infrastructure needs are not being met, and we need to raise more money. Well, I asked them at the time, why did you do that? And they said, well, we want to get the bill out there and get a vetting on that bill to get people's opinions on what they think and which directions we should move. Now, the University of Idaho survey that has been published recently, and I didn't see the date on when that thing was published, but I think it's relatively recent. Many people said, yeah, we probably need to raise a little bit more money for transportation needs. Two schools of thoughts. One is, well, let's just raise the sales tax and send that money to the transportation department. The other is, let's raise user fees because they reside with the transportation department up front. If we raise sales taxes, it goes into the general fund, and then we have to transfer it from general fund to transportation. Now, many people may not understand, but that the general fund budget, and this year it was like 2.97 or something like that, just under $3 billion. That doesn't include the Department of Transportation highway monies. That comes in separately and is accounted for separately. It's not part of our general fund budget. So there's a real lack of interest to put it into the general fund and transfer it over to transportation. So let's look at user fees and how they would be generated to go directly to the transportation department to put more money in. And it's no small number.
It was like $200 million annually. Brad Little did the report.
It's a little over in my mind, I thought it was like that Burt Brackett's report had a number closer to 225 or 230.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
A year.
It's cumulative, you see. Well, gas taxes would be one of those, quote, user fees that we might look at. And they're looking at or thinking about something in the neighborhood of 3 to 7 cents a gallon. And as a footnote, Senator Bob Corker, Tennessee, I hope I got that right.
Yeah, he is Tennessee.
He has proposed raising the federal gas taxes in two increments, 6 cents a gallon in two shots for a total of 12 cents a gallon, because the federal highway trust fund is also depleted and not able to fulfill its commitment.
Because they haven't raised any taxes on that since 1996. 1996, they've not raised federal tax on gas.
And the state gas tax, I think, is at least that old, maybe a little older. But
our roads and bridges are crumbling, and it's not like something we can put off. So they're looking
at user fees on highway gasoline taxes, on licensing and registration fees, on some sections of heavy truck use traffic. And I can't, I'm sorry that I've forgotten exactly what they referred that to, but there would be additional taxes assessed on trucks, heavy licenses, or additional monies for trucks for their licensing fees up to $80,000 or up to $106 or up to $129.
So this is something that's definitely going to be coming up in the next legislature.
I think there is a real good chance that this is going to be one of the things that we have to address in the coming session of the legislature. It's either this year or it's 3 years from now. Because 2 years from now, we're going to be facing the election cycle again, and nobody wants to raise taxes during a process that's going to be followed so quickly by the election. So if we're going to do these kinds of things, it's going to be this legislative session because it gives it a little time for everything to settle down before they have to run for election again.
All right, Steve, we're out of time. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. We'll be here.
Steve.
Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans. We have Governor Butch Otter next, right here on Top Story.
And we're back. That's right. With Top Story, top of the hour. Right, and we're having some technical difficulties. Something is wrong with our phone lines.
I don't believe it.
So, unfortunately, we can't get calls in or out, right, Cal?
I know. I don't believe this. And we had the governor.
The point of it is we were supposed to interview the governor by phone, but he can't call in and we can't call out.
He can't call. He gets a busy signal, and so I thought, oh, well, maybe something's haywire on their end. So I try to call out, and I can't even call out.
Yeah, so I don't. We had some callers the first hour.
I know. I had to tell the governor of the state of Idaho, I can't talk to you because our phone isn't working.
Maybe you should say, what's happening to the phone lines in Idaho? Get on it right now. What are you doing to us?
Oh, this is embarrassing.
We had callers in the first part of the hour. I wonder if, they do work outside. Maybe they hit a line or something.
Well, that's a possibility. That has happened a time or two in the past. But the timing for this is impeccable.
Well, no, it's called live radio, Cal.
Yeah,
we should expect it. This should happen.
Impeccable live radio. So I apologize, but when I try to, here's what happens when I try to dial out. Okay, I have to seize a line. That's what I get. Yeah. That's what I get.
All right, so I don't know.
How about that? Well,
it couldn't be a caller that didn't hang up, could it?
No. And we got two lines, so I even tried the other line. It's the same thing there.
Oh, wow.
So I had to take a rain check with the governor.
Well, you know what? It happens.
Wow.
You should be able to flow with it. We can't, what can you do?
And
you know what we are going to do, which we haven't mentioned so far yet today, is we are going to pick a winner for our Lunch with Kelly and Me.
That's right.
Today, we have our big box. We had to upgrade because we have so many entries.
I know.
If you see it online, you can see our new box. We had a little plastic one before, but now we need
we had
bigger
a glass
box.
Jar for a while.
We had a fish bowl.
Yeah, we had a fish bowl, and then they absconded with that because they had another use for it.
But then we had a big plastic one.
That's right.
And now it has too many, so now we have a big box. Yeah. So you can see we're going to be picking it at what time? After Huckabee?
Yes.
After Huckabee. So listen up today, and hopefully you won. Whoever you are.
Yeah.
We always have a great time.
August is coming up.
We always have a great time.
Wow. I can't believe that.
Okay, Kelly's a little verklempt.
I am verklempt.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean,
That's
you're
Jewish
supposed to do
for
you're a little, upset, like a little disoriented, a little discombobulated.
Now, interesting that happened on like the second day, well, pretty much the first part of the month. I wonder if maybe we didn't pay our phone bill.
I don't know. Maybe you should ask Janice or Connie. Connie, did we pay the phone bill?
Yeah. What's going on here?
I don't know. I wonder what the governor's thinking. Fine. You don't want to talk to me?
I know. He's thinking, wow. Anyway.
Hey, you know what?
We do have some other news to talk about this morning. I found it kind of interesting that one of the top stories in the country this morning is that the FBI is trying to track down who hacked in and stole some nude pictures of celebrities. Apparently, that's a big deal.
Well, if you're the celebrity, it probably is. But my question is Jennifer Lawrence and Kate Upton. I'm sure you've heard of those two.
And several others.
And there's
actually
a few, but my question always is, why are there always nude photos that people hack into?
I know.
That's the last thing I'd want to do is see new photos of me.
I think they got them off of some hacker got them off of their personal computers.
Okay.
Or their phone, or I don't know, their iPod or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's off their personal computers, but it's like...
I just have to say...
why do you have those?
I, myself, Kelly Class, do not have any nude pictures of me on my computers that anyone can steal.
Or anywhere?
Or anywhere, as for that
Can
matter.
I just say thank you? Because I don't know if I'd ever want to... If anyone blackmailed you and said, I have pictures of Kelly naked, what would you do? I don't want to look.
I guess this is something with celebrities. I guess you become a celebrity, and then all of a sudden the requirement is you take nude pictures.
I think that was the reason not to take nude pictures. I think I'm more paranoid than the average bear, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't have anything like that anyone could hack into. And then you're like, oh, I don't know. How did they get out? You know what? Chances are they're going to get out. They have GPSs on you people. Well, they have everything on you people. Why even give it to them?
The person who did it, I forget what he's calling himself, he had to change location, so he's on the run. So apparently they've got a line on who did it. But it can't be because Jennifer Lawrence is kind of in the background now. I mean, she is front and center. She is at the peak of her short career right now.
Yeah, she's
now
just
Kate
a young
Upton
one.
and some of the others maybe. I am
21.
convinced.
She's like a Sports Illustrated model.
I'm convinced that some of them do that because they aren't being paid any attention to. And so they think, hey, maybe if we just, manufacture a little theft of some nude pictures, that'll put our name in the forefront again, because that's what it's all about. It's all about getting your name up front.
Well, some of them, like, remember Vanessa Williams, Miss USA, when she had, or Miss America, was she Miss America, Miss USA, Miss America?
I think it was Miss America.
In her earlier career when she did some modeling because she needed to make money, well, then when you become Miss America, and then they released them, and then she lost her crown. But in these situations, I mean, these people, Jennifer Lawrence has won an Academy Award. It was just a nominee again this year. Won Golden Globes. I mean, and they're young. They're still young. It's not like, but why would you even take them at this point? I would be so paranoid that anything would be hacked into, and to say, oh, I have new photos. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
You got me. But the FBI is on it. The FBI
is
looking
a
for the guy
offense.
who did that.
Isn't it a federal offense?
Well, I guess it is,
into?
even no matter who no matter what you steal.
Computer
over
intrusions
like
and the unlawful release of material, Hey, any of us, if that was any of us, we would go to the FBI or, say, hey, someone's been doing, what if they hack your bank account, whatever. I mean,
if
those
they
are
hack
crimes.
my bank account, I would, but if they hacked my computer and got some nude pictures of me, which I don't have, I could definitely say those are fakes. That's what they've tried to do, some of them, too. Oh, those are just fakes.
No, but she's like, no, those are real, and I want you to go after these people. I mean, they have rights of privacy and rights of publicity like all of us, and you know what? My question is, when you're famous or you're, why are you even taking pictures of this and having it on anywhere? Yeah. If you're with someone, they see you naked.
Of course, you have to admit, we're kind of from the old school.
We're old school.
And the kids nowadays, and I'm talking about anybody under 25.
Sexting.
I mean, their whole thing is online and computers. I mean, they've never heard of paper and pencil. They've never heard of photographs. Everything is done online.
I know.
So
I'm just
for
more
them
paranoid.
to do it online would be the same thing as for us to take pictures on the old-fashioned film and pack them away in the closet somewhere.
No, I'm just, I think I'm more paranoid. I just would not want anything like that to get out. Just like when you write something on Twitter or write something, I mean, I do not do that stuff. I wouldn't want that to haunt me. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's my legal background dealing with rights of privacy and publicity, when people were nailed, and I don't know. I just don't do it. I don't open myself up to it. I don't want to, and I don't think they should. I don't understand.
And it's only going to get worse because as the younger generation comes up, and this is the way they do things. It's just the way. Everything is electronic now. It's going to get worse. And when we start, well, of course, we're doing our banking online now. I know you don't, but probably most people do.
And I won't.
Or a good portion of people do, I know. And in the future, I'm convinced that we're going to be voting online someday. Someday we will be able to vote from the privacy of our own home.
I hope they have technology in other countries. You put your hand up, they know it's you, boom, you vote. And we're still with paper connecting arrows. Like when I moved to Kimberly and I voted for the first time, I'm like, what? You got to connect an arrow with a magic marker? That's how you do it? I think we're a little behind the times. I still think we should have paper backup, no doubt. I don't think it should, be in the hands of that.
I'm kind of going changing gears here a little bit, but now that we mentioned voting and we mentioned the connecting the arrows, I remember when Twin Falls County had the voting machines.
Yeah, I like the voting
machines. And they were big.
I didn't do them here. They were in Massachusetts
clumsy,
or Ohio.
And they were heavy, and they were awkward, and it was a pain to move them around. But
I love that.
I think we got along pretty well with those things. I can remember still going in and pushing down the knobs, and if you you couldn't accidentally, you closed the curtain. You couldn't accidentally vote for two people running for the same office. I mean, it seemed to me like it worked well, and now we're back to the paper and pencil thing and hanging chads and running them through the machines, and you don't know if it's picking them up right or not. So
software problems.
I don't know.
So I don't know how we got to this, but nude photos. Are you guys out there taking nude photos? Are you worried someone's going to hack into it? I mean, really? I had a friend of mine. He said people, older people, he'd play golf with, and their girlfriends or wives are sending them sexting photos. And what do you think the guys do? What do you think the first thing they do when they're playing golf?
They show them to everybody.
Yes.
Of course.
He said he's seen more women naked from their friends and their girlfriends. I mean, it doesn't matter what level you are. You're married. They don't care. They still show, oh, look what my wife sent me. Never in a million years would I do that. Never. Sorry, Tom.
Nor would I.
Sorry, Tom. My poor husband.
I don't have anything on my computers that I wouldn't want somebody to find. Because it could be just a matter of time, especially when you're hooked up and you leave your computer on and you walk away and there's hackers out there grabbing stuff. I don't have computer passwords or any of that stuff on mine that could be damaging if they got. And not only do I not have any nude pictures of myself on my computers, I don't have any nude pictures of myself, period.
Yeah, I have to say, I don't. Yeah, that was. Thank you.
I mean,
thank you, Kelly.
Like I say, I am scary enough when I'm fully dressed, let alone.
Yeah, you're sitting there posing for Connie on a lounge chair or something, looking very ravishing.
Too much information here, I suppose.
Way too much.
But still, I just saw this with the celebrities, and it seems like every once in a while this happens, and every once in a while it's done on purpose.
I don't think this case was, because you wouldn't ask the FBI to do it if you did it on purpose. And it's not like they don't have enough publicity. Are you kidding me? I mean, how much publicity Jennifer Lawrence has?
Why would Jennifer Lawrence need a boost at this point? Plus, I think a lot of the world sees her as kind of the young, wholesome American girl, and it's hard to envision her. I don't know.
I think you can envision her, Kelly.
That's another story. That's another show altogether. But
what is happening?
I don't think
now you can't even envision.
She doesn't need that to propel.
No, I don't think so.
And isn't it sad that we live in a society that the way to propel your image to popularity is a bunch of nude pictures?
Well, look at Kim Kardashian. She got famous because of a sex tape.
I hear you.
A sex
totally
tape.
agree. And she got popular because she is a whore. And how sad is that for society to know that so much of our society literally adores that family and what they stand for, and they are anything but moral. I mean, they are the most amoral family I can imagine.
Well, I don't know about that, but to be popular for a sex tape, come on, and that we sit there and look at it
anymore.
That's
the big deal. That's the big deal.
I know.
And it's sad. 7360300 is the number to call.
.3 The Snake and Mountain Home Auto Ranch invite you to take the BSU Fun Bus up to Broncos Stadium to watch all the BSU football home games. The first game is Saturday night, September 6th, as the Broncos take on Colorado State. For just $50, you get your ticket and a ride up to Broncos Stadium to watch the first BSU home game of the season. Brought to you by Mountain Home Auto Ranch. That means no worrying about parking, driving, dealing with traffic, or forgetting your ticket. We'll take care of everything. Relax and jump on the BSU Fun Bus up to Broncos Stadium for all the BSU football home games. It's a long ride, so along the way we'll stop at the Mountain Home Auto Ranch potty stop. The whole family is welcome. Get ticket information at 983thesnake.com and click Ride the BSU Fun Bus at the top of the page. BSU Fun Bus includes your ticket and a ride up to Broncos Stadium to watch the first BSU home game of the season. Get ticket information now at 983thesnake.com and click Ride the BSU Fun Bus at the top of the page. Brought to you by Mountain Home Auto Ranch.
A.J. Belukov wants to be governor of Idaho. He says we need change. We've heard that before. AJ stands proudly with Obama and the liberal politics of the Democrats. Washington, D.C. locking up Idaho land, increased taxes, Obamacare. Those aren't Idaho values. AJ, you're a liberal, and that's change we just can't afford for Idaho. Paid for by the Idaho Prosperity Fund. www.iaci.org.
Hey, Billy.
Yeah?
Do you want to go to the state fair?
Yeah.
Do you want to ride the roller coaster?
Yeah.
The big one?
Yeah.
The one with the reverse flip?
Yeah!
Well, you can't.
Huh?
You see, Billy, when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have done with it, including going to the state fair.
Oh, man.
Cheer up. This year, your parents will make it right. They're going to visit EnergySavers.gov, where they'll get tips on how to save energy and money. Then they'll add extra insulation and get a few of those Energy Star appliances. They could save hundreds of dollars a year. And you know what, Billy?
What?
They'll take you to the state fair next year.
But I want to go this year.
I know you do, Billy. I know you do. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing every state has in common: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids don't know where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Yet there are billions of pounds of surplus food around the country at farms and warehouses that could help end this injustice. But all that food is useless if it doesn't get where it needs to go. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. Find out how at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Seven 7360300 is the number to call.
Maybe.
Well, the plot thickens on the phone deal, but I'll tell you more about that after this. Friday's $100 yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Renee Bolin.
Renee Bolin, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is color.
Color.
COLOR. So you go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on the word color, and click on word of the day, type in color, and listen tomorrow. If you hear your name tomorrow and you played the word today, you win $100.
You're so verklempt.
I am.
Anyway, so what's going on with our phone lines?
Well, apparently the phone is down in the entire building. It's it's not just here in the studio.
Well, that's good to know.
So we have
it's bigger than us.
We have a box in the back room there. And so Brad went back and he turned it off and, rebooting, because everything has a processor now. So we'll have to see if the reboot does anything. In fact, I'm just going to... No, that didn't do it.
So I guess you guys can't call.
Well, I'm sorry. We can't accept calls right now because our phone system is not working.
So good. Let's talk about abortion, guns, gay marriage. How great Obama is.
Right.
Cats are better than dogs. Quick, let's get it all in. No one can call. That'd be awesome.
Oh, your sense of humor overwhelms me.
Is that not the best radio day ever for me? I think it is.
Well, I will say this.
What?
We experienced some chilly weather over the weekend.
Yeah, it was cold last night.
And snow fell in parts of northern Alaska and Wyoming.
Getting
pretty close.
It's very close.
Snow levels lowered to 9,000 feet in northwest Wyoming.
Wow.
And we are at 4,000, so we're only 5,000 feet away from a snowstorm.
That's it. The only thing separating us between us and a snowstorm, 5,000 feet.
That's right.
Wait, is your daughter in Wyoming or Montana?
She's in Montana.
Okay, so anyway, all right. Well, there
however,
you go.
Montana a lot of times follows right in suit with Wyoming as far as the snow is concerned.
All right, so consider ourselves lucky. We are 5,000 feet away.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
A dusting of snow was captured on the Wyoming Department of Transportation cams Sunday morning, northwest of Du Bois, Wyoming. Gee, Wyoming has a Du Bois also, right along with Idaho.
Isn't it Du Bois?
No, that's not how we pronounce it in America.
Apparently not in Idaho.
If you're in France, it's pronounced Dubois.
Du
If
Bois.
you're in America, it's Du Bois. All right?
Oh, my God.
Anyway, at an elevation of 9,500 feet, coated the top of Grand Targhee Resort Sunday afternoon. Wow.
Wow.
That's just right over here.
Right over there.
That is not far away. It won't be long now.
Hey, you know what? You know how we're looking around and you look at stories and you think, oh, that's such a nice one. This was a story that I thought was awesome. A Texas fire department, they're getting actually international attention for going above and beyond the call of duty. Not only, really, the people that serve the public, they go above and beyond. But last week, firefighters and EMTs from Station 4 in Baytown, Texas, responded to a 9/11 call from the family of John McCormick, a 65-year-old man who suffered a heart attack while mowing his lawn. That probably happens a lot, doesn't it? After bringing him to a hospital, the firefighters decided the job wasn't over. Instead of returning to the station, they went back to McCormick's home and finished mowing his lawn. Oh, we're all fighting over who can push the mower first, said Lieutenant J.D. Giles. When they were done, they left a note for the family. It said, "We felt bad that your husband didn't get to finish the yard, so we did. We noticed the padlock to the garage was unlocked, so we locked it and placed your key in the mailbox. We are very sorry about that your husband became ill. We hope he has a speedy recovery. Let us know if there's anything else we can do to help out." But unbeknownst to the firefighters, the neighbors took pictures, but also McCormick, an Air Force veteran, had a history of heart problems, including a quadruple bypass, and died 2 days later.
Oh, wow.
But his family appreciates the help. It just
At
speaks
least
to their
his lawn
character.
didn't need mowed when he died.
So people could come out of the funeral. They'd have a nicely
right.
mowed yard. You're terrible. They say honor is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. That's a fact. So they didn't know anyone had captured their gesture on camera, and that's not why they did it. So, you know what? Isn't that nice? We can go above and beyond for someone.
Baytown, Texas.
Yeah, Baytown, Texas, and I have no idea where that is. There's a lot of little towns in Texas, but I thought that was nice. And of course, Kelly says, at least the poor widow doesn't have to mow the yard. There you go.
Hey, you know what? I am criticized a lot for being a realist, and that's what I am. I am a realist. I call it as I see it, and that's the way it is.
That's how you see it.
I don't know what else to say.
I don't know. Good for the Baytown Fire Department.
Absolutely.
Good for them.
Hats off to the Baytown Fire Department. Sympathies to the family.
I know.
And but that's just one less thing they have to worry about now is mowing the lawn. And when you stop and think about it, in times like that, that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
As opposed to saying, oh, yeah, the lawn's only half mowed because my husband died doing the lawn.
Right.
That would be awful.
It would.
As they're coming in, why is your yard only half mowed?
7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Okay, well, I went out and when I rebooted the system, I tried something else on our phone system. So if you're trying to call, our phones aren't working right now. Let me just see what I get here.
Nope.
That didn't do it either. Okay. Well,
there we go.
I'm going to have to revert to larger solutions. I've got a hammer that I might have to take to our phone system.
You can maybe find a baseball bat, too.
That would work. A hammer, baseball. Actually, a baseball bat might be. It gives you a little more leverage, that longer length, Sledgehammer, something like that.
Every computer should come with one.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows, and you know my history in computers.
Yes, I do. Oh, my gosh,
And unfortunately, I'm my own IT system. So, my own IT department, which is not saying much.
That is true. Say, the folks at Farmore of Idaho have the infrared Baron, and we've talked about this before. This is where they fly over your fields. They take pictures with infrared photography. This reveals all sorts of information on your fields that you really can't see with regular photography or the naked eye. They take this information and they can email it to you or upload it. Anyway, you can get it on your computer, and then you can analyze it, and you can see places that you need to improve on in your fields. For instance, it's not getting enough water in certain areas, and you thought it was getting plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can make some adjustments to your irrigation system, and then your yields will be bigger, and you'll be making more money. And so this type of a deal, this infrared Baron, the overflights of your fields, it does not cost, it pays. And they can tell you all about everything you need to know on this infrared Baron at Far More of Idaho. Their number is 324-3341, or also online at farmoreofidaho.com.
So, you were going to?
I was going to what?
Apologize.
Apologize for what?
For something that you supposedly reported on Friday, but we found out was not true.
What, about Obama?
Don't act like you don't know.
Obama being invited to George Clooney's Italian wedding?
What Kelly didn't say, the source of that story, we've later discovered, I did. National Enquirer, George Clooney said the president was never invited to his wedding. He has bigger things to do than come to his wedding. And Obama's people said he was never invited. But no, you rumored that he was invited. I told you it was rumored, it was not confirmed.
You to believe.
Oh, stop.
Here's what really happened.
Why can't you even admit that you are wrong on something? Why?
I take after you, Jill.
That is not true.
Sorry.
I say I'm wrong all the time.
No, you
I
don't.
do too.
You most certainly do not.
Maybe
you
my facts
admit
actually play out more than yours.
Oh, no. This is a deal where
I'm not citing the National Enquirer.
George Clooney never ended up asking President Obama to attend his wedding.
He said he was never invited.
I think what happened is I think he did invite them. And then the president's people said, there's such a controversy right now about the president playing around all the time. It would just be really bad if all of this got out. So if you could just tell everybody that the president was not invited, we would really appreciate that.
It's sad that you can't even admit anything.
That would just eliminate a whole bunch of trouble for the president, who can't talk to you right now, by the way, because he's out golfing. But, that's another story. So I don't know.
You're so sad that you can't even say that it was rumored. That was the story, and the rumor isn't true. And I said that rumored. What does that mean? And you just said it anyway.
The president has a very, very, very powerful public relations department.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. I don't know
you can't
one
even
way
admit.
or the other for sure.
It's been reported.
I am just cautious.
Yeah.
I am cautious here.
See, it doesn't matter with facts. I'm just saying. They denied he was ever invited to the actor's wedding. The president's not going. Oh, stop.
That would be the thing to do.
You know what? You're so pathetic. It's sad that you can't sit there and say you just make up this stuff.
I didn't make it up. It was all over the internet.
Absolutely. Oh, so it's true. Give me a break. Be more responsible with some of your facts.
Hey, it was all over
the internet. They aren't even facts.
I was reporting on the information that I had at the time.
That's like when they said his trip to... Oh, stop. That's when they said his trip to India was $2 billion, that all the conservatives were saying. Give me a break.
$2 billion
yes,
to India?
That was Michelle Bachmann came out with that, and you guys all run with it, and
Amazing.
It's like check your facts.
I knew he was frivolous, but I didn't think he was that frivolous.
That wasn't true.
So, man,
you're
that's
pathetic.
what they would like you to believe.
Stop, Kelly.
They come out with these stories, and they find out about them. Oh, we got to do some backtracking. We got to do some backpedaling.
First of all, who would want the president at your wedding? All the Secret Service, all the people he has to travel with. Who would even invite the president anywhere? Come on.
Well, they went to a wedding over the weekend.
Yeah,
apparently they invited him.
Yeah, but the guys worked for him since they lived in Chicago, and he works at the White House.
The Secret Service.
Yes, he would.
So there you go.
Sam Cass is probably used to it because he works at the White House.
Apparently somebody wants him to attend the wedding.
And P.S., does he not have a life?
I think George Clooney did too.
How do you say that? You know he didn't.
Hey, you don't know how these work, Jill.
Oh, please,
I've been around long enough to know.
You're unbelievable.
736-0300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. And I just wanted to talk for a minute about Dave Hansen at Canyon Pawn, which is on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota, the old Vickers Western store. You know where that is.
I know it used to be Body IQ from the days that I've lived here.
Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, just let it be known that that Dave Hansen wants you to stop by and just see the huge inventory of stuff that he has. He has a lot of stuff, including a lot of new stuff still in boxes, and he's got fishing poles, and he's got camping equipment, he's got woodworking equipment, and he has guns, and he has knives, and he has you can drive by and any bicycles and stuff like that he's got setting out front there. So whatever you would find at a pawn shop, he has it, only it's nice and clean. You don't have to worry about going in and rubbing across something wrong and getting all dirty like many. I mean, this is a nice, clean store. It's a great place. And he also wants you to come in and check out how you can have a chance to win a Savage 17 HMR with an AccuTrigger. So that's at the Canyon Pawn. He's on Facebook, Canyon Pawn. He's online, canyonpawn.com. And just stop by and say howdy and tell him that Kelly and Jill sent you in. Mm-hmm. It's a fun store. It really is.
I haven't gone yet. We have to go. We're supposed to say we're going to have lunch
I
and
know.
go.
We got to do lunch, and we got to go down there and see them.
Well, speaking of lunch, we're still going to do the drawing after Huckabee.
Yes.
We can announce it. We just can't call, unfortunately.
Can't call a winner. I'm a little upset about
Should we
this.
wait till tomorrow so we can try to get him on the phone?
Well, no, let's just go ahead.
Okay.
We said that we would pull the winner
That's
today,
true.
and so that's what we're going to
do. We're doing it.
No, we're doing it, by golly.
All right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So there's kind of bad news about Joan Rivers. They think, well, now they said that she had a bad, something happened during her voice procedure. She was supposed to have her operation on her vocal cords.
She might. What if she had one of the polyps or something, a nodule on her vocal cords?
She said that her voice has gotten worse and was more raspy, and they were going to do a little procedure to remove the nodule. But I think during this, as I'm reading this, is that there was something that happened. She went into cardiac arrest and respiratory arrest, and they put her in a medically induced coma. And they said they were going to start to take her out of the medically induced coma starting Sunday, and that she'd be out today. But doctors fear the stroke. Now, that's the first time we heard she had a stroke. Could have left her as a vegetable or needing a wheelchair.
My goodness.
So anyway, one of her friends and a collaborator for 40 years, he said he tried to visit her at the hospital. He's turned away from security, but he said that, they had dinner the night before the surgery, and she was joking. They had a great time, and she just said her throat was bothering her and had been for a long time, and her voice was getting more raspy. So if that's possible, poor Joan. You have to admit, she's pretty funny, but at 81, bless her heart.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. Maybe it was way more serious than we ever anticipated. So.
And I guess there's talk now about the family maybe suing the doctors.
They might be, that they botched the surgery. They're saying something might have happened. And anytime you go under the knife or under anesthesia, things happen.
Right.
I mean, the goal
and
should be
it's not always the doctor's fault.
Not to. Well. The sad statistic is 100,000 people
know.
die a year by medical mistakes.
I know.
100,000 people. That's like 2.5 times the size of a twin.
I understand that. But it still doesn't mean that every time something
There's just
happens,
a huge
it's the doctor's
risk.
fault. Yeah,
It's a huge risk.
Go putting stuff in your body and cutting into your body, and there's just risks involved. And it may very well be. I don't know. I'm sure they'll find that out.
Yeah, and then they were saying that it was an outpatient procedure, which seems pretty dramatic.
Removing nodules from vocal cords, I don't think is that big of a deal.
Well, she's 81. You're still under anesthesia.
I know.
81.
I know.
I mean, at some point you say to them, maybe you shouldn't even go under. You're 81. Things can happen. And that woman worked hard every day of her life.
Yeah,
she
did.
really worked hard, and I have to say she's funny, and I hope she recovers. And what a tragedy if, God forbid, she has horrible damage from the stroke and you're still alive.
Yeah.
Anyone who lives with a severe stroke, I feel bad. My mom used to work with stroke patients. She was a speech pathologist, and one Christmas Eve we volunteered at the stroke unit in Dallas at this hospital to give people a break, because we're Jewish.
Right.
It was so depressing to me. I was so depressed when I left because there were people like Vital. I remember there's a Vital airline pilot. You just can't speak. You're trapped in your body. You're just trapped. It was just so depressing to me. But we did it for that night. My mom dealt with them a lot. So I just hope she recovers. I really do.
There are some times when something happens that, let me just say, death is not always the worst that could happen.
No.
You know?
And I have to say, after visiting that night, I'd say to my mom, oh my God, if I ever have a massive stroke, I hope I don't make it.
Yeah.
Because this is awful, but she must have maybe had a stroke during the procedure. That was the first time we read it. They sort of just said something went amiss. Well, I think that's what happened. So anyway, we'll find out.
Well, my wife religiously watches the Fashion Police, which is what Joan Rivers has.
Yeah.
And if she can't watch it, she records it. Well, actually, she records it anyway and then watches it 3 or 4 times.
They actually have postponed this, I think canceled or postponed it because of her. So.
Yeah. Well, she's the driving force behind that. So.
And she's funny and raunchy. I'm sorry, but at 81.
She is crude, rude, socially unacceptable, and funny.
And hilarious.
It's time now for the Huckabee Report, brought to you by Waddell & Reed. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed, Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger, financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563.
So this is the time, Kelly class.
This is it.
Okay.
Pull a name out of the hat to see who wins our August lunch with Kelly and Jill at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center and a ride in the limousine.
I'm going to go deep here.
All right. I'm picking up papers that I dropped. All right, and the winner is...
Oh, okay.
Okay, the winner is Frank Pepper.
Frank Pepper! Congratulations!
Well, you know, we need a...
We have nothing?
We have
nothing?
Well, I guess
nothing?
we can do that, I guess. All right, congratulations to Frank Pepper. Apparently from Buell, because he has a Buell phone number.
Okay, well,
now,
that helps.
The downside to this is that we can't call the winner because our phone system is not working right now. So
glitches.
I don't know what to say.
Glitches.
I know.
Okay, but you know what? We're going to have a great lunch and a limo ride. And Canyon Crest, the food's delicious. They have a new chef, Chef Richard Berger. And also, he says you keep some of your old favorites on hand if you want them.
Yep.
Kelly had his coconut fried chicken last time, and our Ray had a French dip, and Katie had fish and chips, and I had my vegetable sandwich, and so everything's delicious.
And
it's lovely.
The view is world class.
World class.
And so is the ride in the limousine.
That's right. So you know what?
In order to sign up for a chance to win a free lunch with Kelly and Jill at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center, go to our website, newsradio1310.com. Click on Win Lunch with Kelly and Jill. Fill out the information and wait and see if your name is pulled out of the hat like it was this morning.
There you go.
So Frank Pepper of Buell, you're a lucky man, Frank.
Lucky man, Frank.
I'm assuming that Frank Pepper is a male. You know, I mean...
Otherwise, it might be Frankie.
Yeah.
But we're assuming Frank. Sure. I wonder if he knows my husband. Tom was raised in Buell, so we'll find out. I'll have to ask him at lunch.
Yeah, we'll have a good
conversation. Does he know Frank Pepper?
We'll have a good conversation.
That's right.
Sorry about the phones this morning. Sorry about
we're not ignoring
interview
you.
with the governor. Boy, talk about a perfect storm. It couldn't have happened at a worse time.
Hey, welcome to the day after Labor Day, a long weekend. What do you expect?
That's right. Man alive. And I had to tell the governor's people, I'm sorry, I can't talk to the governor today. Our phone is not working.
Actually, the entire station's phones are not working.
That's
so if you're trying to call the station or any other stations, not working.
I'm going to go out now, and I'm going to visit that little box on the wall with a baseball bat, and we'll see if we can fix that. See you tomorrow with State of the City and a whole lot more. Have a great day. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.